All right. So, in this particular video, we have selected to draw kind of like our really intense kind of, he's hungry, kind of scrappy owl, right? So he's got a little creep factor going on to him. So in this, we need to get our piece of paper, and we're going to put it in front of us where it's vertically. And we tell the kids all the time, vertically just means that it's tall, not long. Okay, it's more like a door. And first thing we're going to do with this piece of paper, we're just going to take the top down and we're just going to bend it so that the bottom and the top can meet. And we want to keep these edges as even as possible. We're going to give it a slight pat and then open it up. And on that, what that does is allow us just to know that when we need to be in the upper part of the paper and when we need to be in the lower part of that paper. All right. So to create our owl, we like to draw from the inside and work our way to the outside. So we're going to start right here with the beak, and that beak is going to be kind of in the center of the upper part of our paper. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take our pencil here. We're going to start off ourselves with right here in the center of the whole thing. We're going to give ourselves a nice kind of skinny V. Alright, with our skinny V, we're going to just take a nice little rainbow here, turn it into an ice cream cone. Kind of like making it look like the beak. We're staring at it right from the front, and so the beak has the upper part and the lower part, kind of like the hand opens and closes here. And so we're just going to kind of draw that part there. So right there, smack dab towards the upper part of this V, and give ourselves a tiny little rainbow. And we're just going to slant out and away, and that separates the beak. We'll need some nostrils. Alright, and then to kind of give him that look like he's really intense, it's all about the eyebrows, it's all about expressions. And so what we want to do is we want to be really kind of close and above the ice cream cone, the beak here. I'm going to create this kind of weird J, and I'm going to bring it down so it's, you got the smile, it turns into a rainbow, and then you bring that down. And we're going to do the same thing over here. It doesn't have to be as high. In fact, if you give it a little difference, it really kind of gives him a weird kind of element to him if you got one a little higher and one a little lower. Alright, and then I'm going to kind of change my eyes a little bit. I'm going to kind of go with more of an oval, half oval. I'm going to slant them as well, so it kind of accentuates this, kind of this intense gaze. So you can see it slightly different. How just changing little lines like that can really make a difference in your art. I'm just going to put his pupils right there in the center. And now I've kind of got him really intensely trying to figure out what's going on there. Alright, so to create, like a great horned owl, he has these feathers that are turned up. They kind of get mistaken as horns when they're just feathers, right? And so we're going to kind of work on these first two. And if you turn your paper, that kind of looks like a W, right? And so that's the first thing we're going to do, is just outside these eyebrows, we're just going to kind of write a weird kind of W. And then this is where I want to turn that first feather up, kind of make it look like it's an actual kind of horn, but small. And again, doesn't have to be exact on both sides. Gives it a little bit more character. And it's like a weird capital letter M. If you take away all of that, it just kind of looks like a weird capital letter M. I kind of like the top of his head having these two little bumps that come to a center. So I'm going to kind of put my finger where I think they should all go, and I'm going to rainbow over, come down. I want it to overlap, so I'll bring this one over, and I want to make sure that they're just gives that sense of an overlap. Alright, then to create his outside of his head, right, now that we got the top of his head and his eyebrows, we want to go back to this weird W. We're just going to create these parentheses that kind of go down. And you want to just get a little bit lower than the beak. We don't have to go super low. Alright. And then they're not going to actually meet up and touch. But what we want to do is curve these guys in, give them a flat rainbow, and then let them just kind of disappear just right below the beak. something like that. Alright, and I'm going to switch to my pencil here just because I won't be able to erase Sharpie later and the wings are kind of touchy. So these wings have to overlap the side of the body, and if I draw that body line, I won't be able to erase later. So to get the body, you might be just around your fold or just above your fold. You might be below your fold. Just depends on how big you're drawing, but we want to be kind of outside in this area. And we're going to bring this down a nice U. And you can see I'm bringing it down pretty good. Or you might call it a horseshoe because it kind of curves in towards the top. So calling it a horseshoe might be better. But it takes up a lot of space here. Alright, so, and this constructed wings, what I like about him is a little bit different, is his wings kind of bend out, right, and give him this creepy kind of, I'm going to take my line and just kind of bend it out, right, you know, about halfway. And I'm going to slant back towards the body, almost touch it. And then it's just kind of creating these, so it looks like a W, right? I'm going to come up a little bit and create a W somewhere up here. And then I just want to connect these two lines. And I want to keep it not curvy. Kind of want to have a straight kind of slant bend kind of, and then just bring that in like that. And so there's his wings right on the outside. And you know, if I take away my pencil line for you real quick, you can kind of see the difference that makes. Right? And then I might want to give him some chest hair at the top, so it's just like this fluffy wrinkle, these U's connected, and kind of gives them a little puffy feather. You can probably do it again if you want. You don't have to. And I kind of like the idea of him having like a inner belly, different color. I'm going to make that a little bit sharper, so I'm coming in there. Alright, and then finally we got to have the feet. And I decided to do the feet a lot different on this one, so I'm just going to do some rainbows. Alright. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can put yourself some little hooks there if you want, something you claw, some talons, you know, give him a little character. He does kind of look, he's a little more fierce. And then you can create more feathers in his body. You can put them on the outside, and they're just little W's. You can even kind of give him some around his eyes, kind of accentuate, give him some like he's got lines around his eyes, you know, kind of really bring that attention to the shape of his eyes. All right, and there you go. Thank you very much.